Well, thanks for the first thumbs up, YTFB. Hello, hello, folks. It's Carlton from the Pharmacy Seeds Network. Hi, Geeky Gardens. Hi, YTFP. Hi, Michelle. Nessie Monster, you certainly were first. Awesome. And we're going to go ahead and start this net right on up. This is KD2IIN Net Control for the Sunday Night All Things Natural Net. The Sunday Night All Things Natural Net is a net offered to the radio community by the Overlook Amateur Radio Club, located in Ulster County, New York. You can find out more about our club and all our club functions and things by visiting our website at www.omarcclub.org. I'll do that in phonetics at the end of the net. And so we are looking for check-ins for the Sunday Night All Things Natural Net. We primarily focus on farming and gardening, but we all sort of span many other topics in the process of that. So without further ado, let's get started. This is KD2IIN Net Control, looking for check-ins.
KC2UVP, Tivoli Mike. Here it is. KD2
I just said that.
RFI,
Sorry.
Bob Catskill.
Sorry for the F-bomb. Alright, then it recognizes KC2 UVP and KD2 RFI. Are there any further check-ins for the net? Hey, Justin. Alright, no further check-ins recognized at this time. We're going to start at the top of the list with KC2 UVP. Mike, how are you tonight?
Well, I'm just Ducky, and I had a surprise visit. Somebody stopped in front of the house, and they said, "Oh, it's you," and it's me. And I yelled my call sign. Apparently, I met somebody else I talked to on the radio this afternoon, and it's quite amazing the connectability of communications, whether it's airwave, letter, and a postage stamp, or how important that is. And it brought my day up to an enormous level. Anyways, that's how I'm doing. I'm doing just Ducky. I'm swimmingly, and it just rolls off my back to the net. And if I have anything agricultural, I'll try to chime in, because everybody's got a garden today. Is this the new Victory Garden? Back to net.
All right, well, very good. Well, thanks for your thoughts, Mike. And we're going to roll on down the list to Bob, KD2 RFI. Go ahead.
KD2 RFI checking in.
Hey, Bob.
How you doing? How you doing, Mike? Hopefully everyone's doing well. Anyone else listening out there, either on the air or on the web? I'm actually sitting here on my computer. This is one of the benefits of actually putting an antenna up. I can sit there and watch it drink Irish coffee, maybe? I don't know. That's what I was enjoying earlier. And, watch the comments roll in as I talk on the radio, too. Crazy busy weekend. I think, as you know earlier, CJ, I was running this whole weekend, running tractor, kicking my butt. So I'm just absolutely exhausted this weekend, but it was a good exhaustion. And looking forward to kicking back, put my feet up this evening. I come rolling down the driveway with tractor on the trailer on the back, and lo and behold, when you see two swarms in a tree. So I bet you know what my immediate plans were at that point on. So suffice to say, I got two more hives. I think they're both going to stay. One's kind of acting kind of weird, so I don't know. We'll see if they stay. They might take off tomorrow. They're not doing the normal fanning and flying around or whatnot they normally do. But other than that, all is well. Love the weekend weather. Back to net.
Awesome, Bob. Awesome. Yeah, I know what you're doing. You're grabbing a bucket and a veil and some hive parts and going and snagging them while you can. Well, glad you caught two more. I hope that one that's a little weird kind of stabilizes out for you, and that's awesome. I managed to catch 2 swarms this last week and the week before, about 6 days apart. I think they're both from that big thriving colony. And the first one was a little smaller than the second one. The first one is doing well, but the second one is just thriving. I popped the covers on that box yesterday and put another box of foundation on top to give them some room to start building comb out. And man, that whole box was completely full of bees. So that was pretty exciting. Awesome. I can't wait to get back to more of this. That's awesome. You got to use the chainsaw and the tractor all weekend, but I also know how much that wears you out, so I sympathize. I wish I had an Irish coffee. All I have here is spring water, but an Irish coffee would taste great right about now. All right, let's see if there's any further check-ins, and then we'll roll back through the rotation. This is KD2IIN, Net Control for the Sunday Night All Things Natural Net. If there are any further check-ins, please call now.
KB2SBT.
Hey, there's Matt. KB2SBT is recognized. Any further check-ins?
KD2MQE. Hi.
David. Alright, that recognizes KD2MQE. Any further check-ins?
KD2SQO, Brian Kingston. Listening.
KD2SQO. Alrighty, and we recognize KD2SQO, Brian in Kingston. Good to hear you again as well. Are there any further check-ins? And then we'll pick it back up where we were on the list. YTFN. Alright, no further check-ins recognized. We're going to continue down the list where we were. We're going to start back up with KB2SBT. Matt, how are you tonight?
Not bad, CA. Just enjoying the weather, same as everybody else. And, checked on the 4 swarms that we had, and they seem to be sticking around, so we're happy about that.
Fantastic, fantastic. I hope they've settled down a little bit since the other day. They seemed a little feisty the other day when I was over there, at least for that swarm I helped Deanna with.
Yeah, they're more organized now, and good activity coming in and out. So, let's hope they stay.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, you're building up quite an apiary over there. I think you have 10 hives now, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. It was the last edition, I think.
Awesome, awesome. All right, well, we're going to roll down the list here, and then we'll come back around and go to a more discussion mode. Sounds like there's some bee topics here to be discussed. We're going to roll down the list to KD2MQE. David.
KD2MQE, hey, good to hear everybody. Hi, CJ. I can't, I don't have any bee stories, but I'm happy to hear about them, and so we can go that way, and that would be totally interesting for me. The thing I was thinking about was supply chain stuff. A friend of mine was talking about restaurants in upstate further in Ithaca, New York, doing things like selling their, inventory, milk by the gallon, yeast by the pound, and I had not heard of that kind of thing happening around here, but maybe it will be, or I don't know what that's all about. So that too, and back to next.
All right, well, fantastic, David. We don't have to talk all about bees. And that is for here for everyone to have discussions they want to have. So any topics you bring up will be entertained, as long as it's not politics or anything super controversial like that. Don't want to upset anybody. Anyway, yeah, the supply chain. I had not heard of a whole lot of that around here, but I do know that Taste Buds down in Red Hook is selling toilet paper. And I know, so I wasn't able to get toilet paper at Hannaford's for several weeks there, and finally I think K2JLV was telling me that they were selling it, so I ended up getting it there. And now that supply chain in the local convenience store here now has been replenished, so that's not a concern for me. But I'd be curious to hear what anyone else has to say about that as well. So as we go through the rotation, put supply chain thoughts on your topic list, and we'll pick it up in the discussion. All right, this is KD2IIN Net Control for the Sunday Night All Things Natural Net. We're going to roll on down to KD2SQO, Brian.
10-4, just listening still, and so far so good, but I am pretty impressed by 10 highs. I can't even imagine. Something else. Back to the net.
Yeah, I can't argue with you on that. I'm up to 4 this year, and kind of like trying to figure out how I'm going to manage it all. But Matt and Deanna have been keeping bees for quite a number of years now, and they've gained quite a bit of experience. And they lost a hive or 2 this year. I'll let Matt tell you more about it. He could give you better details on their particular apiary. But yeah, that's a lot to stay on top of. All right, let's just take a pause here and see if there's any further check-ins. This is KD2IIN Net Control for the Sunday Night All Things Natural Net. If there are any further check-ins, please call now.
K2BHM.
Later imaginations. Net recognizes K2BHM. Jim, are there any further check-ins? All right, no further check-ins recognized at this time, so we're going to roll on down the list to K2BHM, and then we'll roll back up to the top of the list and go back through the rotation again. Jim, pick it up.
Thanks, CJ. K2BHM. Nothing much to add here.
It does taste awful.
Just sitting back, relaxing after a nice dinner, and enjoying reading the mail part of it. So continue on with the conversation, and I'll enjoy whatever topics pop up. K2BHM.
All right, sounds good, Jim. Thanks for joining the net and supporting it, and we'll be sure to do that. So we're going to roll back to the top of the list now to Mike, KC2UVP.
Well, Mike here, yeah, KC2UVP. I'm the second eldest son in my lineage, so that makes me the alpha beta, and
Yes, it does, Justin.
I love bees. Unbelievable how many bee men I know, and I'm the alpha beta in lineage, and I wish I could add something important here. I would just babble. I would just babble on. So unless somebody activates me to pick my mind, I'm going to just say back to net, and thanks everybody for being out there, and I'm really glad I have my radio running.
All right, sounds good, Mike. And yeah, everybody's at their own level of interest in learning, so we won't hold that against you at all. And sometimes it's better just to listen and learn. Anyway, glad you joined the net. Let's roll on down to Bob, KD2RFI. Tell us a little bit more about your swarm captures, and I don't know, let's open this up to the bee discussion. I'd also be curious to hear your thoughts on supply chain related stuff.
KD2RFI. I don't know. As far as the supply chain is concerned, luckily I had a big old package of toilet paper before this thing started. I'm still kind of bewildered on why we're out. I just don't get it.
That's not good, Michelle.
Empty. Everything else looks pretty good up in this end. Fruits, vegetables, canned goods, meats, bread, eggs, and all that seems to be fairly well stocked in the store. Just paper towels and toilet papers. I don't fully understand it, but
yeah, Justin.
I guess that's why we pay people to figure this stuff out. I don't know. But anyway, the swarm captures were pretty straightforward. I think one was about 7 foot up in some brushy, viney trees, and that was a little more complex than another, but the other one's right about eye level, so it made it real easy. Just walk in, grab them with buckets. I gotta tell you though, normally I record this stuff whenever I can, but I was just so exhausted today. And actually, when I saw the swarms, I just kind of put my head down like, I got more work to do, so. But they went pretty straightforward, and like I said, I put them in the hive. The one that was at eye level, that went in, and the bees all started fanning, and they seemed pretty good. one was a smaller swarm, and I put them in a double-stack nucleus box, which is a total of 10 frames, 5 on top, 5 on the bottom, so 8 frames.
Stack,
and
okay.
they didn't seem to fan as much. They did, but then all of a sudden they just like went inside, and I saw no activity, and I kind of popped the lid, and they were still in there, but they just weren't fanning like the other hive was. So I don't know. The bees were off the tree, and all the extra bees. So I'm assuming they made their way to the hive. We'll see tomorrow if they abscond or what happens. They may have already found a better spot and just hadn't left yet. But I've had them abscond the day after anyway. So we'll see what happens. It was pretty interesting. Kind of sorry I didn't record it though, and put something together. But it was just one of those deals where I was just so incredibly tired and just wanted to get it done. I got another story about I kind of screwed up a little bit Saturday. No fault, but kind of made an inconvenience for somebody. I'll roll on to that the next round. KD2 RF5, back in there.
Sparse comment.
Here we go. That's why the F-bomb early, so I apologize for that. But go ahead, comment.
Yeah, I was on Flint Mine Road out in Coxsackie, and my guys were running. And I was looking for the bear that they were running from. And I approached them
Big rise.
when they stopped running, and my man said, do you want me to get you some comb? And what they were running from was a beehive that had nested in a tree. And I looked at him and I said, I don't know what you're saying, but if you want to reach in there and get us some comb, I don't know
okay,
what
Michelle, we
So I've grown to respect bees and the art and the fearlessness. He wanted to get us pure honey. Anyways, back to the net. That's Flint Mine Road, Coxsackie.
Okay, well, thanks for the comment, Mike. I don't know what to tell you there. Yeah, Bob, interesting on the apiary stuff. Thanks for sharing that, and definitely am curious to hear about the Saturday stuff. Yeah, it's amazing how difficult and easy swarms can be. Mine up in that cedar tree, those have been really simple to catch, especially with the bucket. That, boy, I just want to thank you again for that tip. That was so simple. Just dump them in the hive, and you're done. And interesting, they didn't do any fanning. I wonder if they swarmed without a queen, or maybe lost the queen in the swarming process or something. I'd be curious to come back to that. Anyway, we're going to roll on down the list here to KB2 SBT. This is KD2 and Net Control for the Sunday Night All Things Natural Net.
Thanks, CJ. Yeah, question for the group. Maybe Bob would know. So as you were saying, we came through the winter with 3 hives out of 5. So we lost 2, one sometime during the winter and one early spring. And with the swarms, we had 1, 2, 3 swarms on 3 different days. And I thought we were done because 3 hives, 3 mature queens, packing up and leaving. But then we had the 4th one on the 4th day. So the question, I guess, would be, would virgin queens, if they were swarm cells built up, would they, go out with part of the population as well? So I thought we were done after 3. So I was surprised by the 4th one. Back to net.
All right, very good. And I'm going to pass that right back to KD2 RFI so we can directly answer your question. So, Bob, pick it up.
KD2 RFI. Man, CJ, I was hoping you were going to pick that one up.
My touching.
It's my understanding, and please don't quote me on this, I'm by no means well versed in all aspects. A lot of mine is trial by error, trial by fire, whatever you want to call it. More error than fire.
Having trouble hearing me, Chris?
But
sorry.
yes,
I'll try to speak up more.
The virgin queens will, for whatever reason, 2 of them will stay in the colony and take another group out. I don't understand the theories or concepts behind it, but I heard of it happening. I think it was 2 years ago. I couldn't even tell you how many hives I had, but I'm telling you, it seemed like my hive swarmed. Each of them had swarmed twice. I had just so many swarms going out. It was every day I was like 1, 2, or 3 different swarms. Some I was able to capture, some were like 40 feet up in a tree. I said good luck to them and waved them off, but it was just an incredible swarming year. I think that was like 2 or 3 years ago. So, yes, it can happen occasionally. Take advantage of it if you got the equipment and build your apiary. It's, nothing wrong. And the equipment, if it's there, you have it for next time. So you'll be all set. Back to net.
Thanks, YTFP. Alright, this is KD2, and I'm going to pass it right back to Matt, KB2SBT, for further questions or comments. We got the Long Island interference going now.
Yeah, thanks, Bob. That's kind of what I was figuring. I just wasn't sure. I hadn't read up on it or heard much about it. I knew mature queens would gather up the resources and head out.
Lower tones, YTFP.
So that's why I was surprised at the fourth one. And it was so close to the apiary that I didn't think it was a swarm from another location. Odds of that would probably be pretty slim. So my guess was that, there was swarm cells, and maybe there was more than one queen in the hive, and rather than fight to the death, maybe they decided to split up and go.
Split.
So,
that makes sense.
Thanks a lot.
I'll throw it back to you one more time, Bob.
Not a whole lot more to add. They're in, as much as I think I know, they constantly surprise me, so it's always something a little new. And, in all honesty, it could have been a roving swarm from a tree far off who
Could be.
landed there and thought they found a spot, and the spot was taken, and they were just resting to move on. That's possible, too, but they're just amazing creatures, and I'm just amazed by how much I'm learning every day with them, every time you work with them. KD2, RF5, back to that.
Alright, this is KD2, Net Control, the Sunday Night All Things Natural Net. Yeah, that makes me want to build a pheromone tracking drone. So we can track swarms with a drone. But I think that's probably more complex than the concept. Anyway, let's roll on down to KD2 MQE, David.
MQE, thanks. This is totally interesting, you guys. And I'm checking out the YouTube also, and so it's the 7-second delay thing, so I'm a little confused.
Yeah,
Here I am.
the delay will confuse you.
But I was just, I would like to hear more about the, just sort of newbie kind of question about, like, you guys were talking about this the last couple of weeks, hadn't seen any swarms, hadn't seen any, and now you are. And so does that, I guess, the stupid question, is that a seasonal thing? Does that stabilize? Are you expected to not have to do that the rest of the season? Like, this, you do this for a month and then everybody gets settled where they're going to be.
Yeah, I saw that too, Geeky.
I don't know. And just one last thing, in our neighborhood, which is in town, in the village of New Paltz, we usually see a lot of honeybees floating around, pollinating stuff, and not so many in our neighborhood this time of year. We've got other kinds of bees, but not your honeybees. That's it for me. Back to that.
Alright, very good, David. Yeah, typically the swarms happen in New York around May, springtime typically. They can swarm later in the season, but I think that's less likely. But I am going to throw this question back up to either Bob or Matt. I'll let either one of you throw your call sign out, and you probably can fill David in more. Again, I'm still learning here, and I don't want to give you misinformation. So, yeah, the bees are totally fascinating, though, David. I totally agree. And I'm glad you're learning something good. So this is KD2I and Net Control. I'm going to throw this open to KD2RFI or KB2SBT. You guys can throw your call and pick it up.
Alright, KD2, RF5. Let's kind of wait for Matt to throw his call sign up, but okay. Yeah, as far as the bees in New Paltz, it's, sometimes they like certain flowers and other times certain areas, so it's really hit and miss. It depends on location of the hive and how far away they have to travel, and this is a whole different variable, so I really don't have a solid answer why you see them in the village and not by you, so I'm really not sure.
Yeah, I
they
enjoy
will,
the crickets myself.
split off, and the mature queen will lay egg cells in a queen cup, produce new queens, and then she'll take part of the hive with her and head off to find a new home right before the new queens emerge. So when that happens, you have about approximately a 3-week period of no brood in the hive. All the existing brood will hatch out, and the mature queen has to go out and mate, become fertile, and come back and start laying new brood, which will take approximately 18 days to 21 days to hatch. So it's a pretty interesting process.
That's why I put it back up to Bob.
The swarm, when they take off, they will ball up somewhere near the apiary, and that's a swarm of bees, or a big ball of bees you see hanging there, and they'll send scouts out to go look for a new home, and the majority of them stay back and take care of the queen. And right before they all leave to form that swarm, they suck down a lot of resources just to kind of, have resources available, start making new comb. I hope I answered everything for you. If there's anything else, just throw it out and I'll do what I can. KD2 R5. Send it back.
I'll let you pick it up, David.
KD and QE. Bob, thank you. That's totally.
I have friends with hearing loss as
more
well.
than answered it, and
My dad too.
I'll be paying attention. Keep going. Back to CJ.
All right, very good. And Bob, that was a really excellent, detailed explanation. That was way more than I was going to be able to spit out. So thank you for that. That's why I threw it back to you and Matt. I knew you guys have more information and experience. So we're going to just actually we'll roll on down the rest of the list here, and then we'll do an opportunity for check-ins. We're going to go down to KD2 SQO, Brian.
Yep, listening in, and I'm really into like learning the language level right now, but
Yeah,
very interesting.
I know, Chris. It's very sharp tones in radio. Sorry. I'll get this balanced better eventually. All right, very good. Glad you're enjoying it, and glad you're participating, and thanks for coming along with us. We'll roll on down to Jim, K2BHM. Yeah, it gets
Thanks,
pretty
CJ.
explicit times.
KQBHM here. Not much to add. Just sitting back, reading the mail, and enjoying the comments. K2BHM.
All right, very good, very good. All right, well, this is KD2 Net Control for the Sunday Night All Things Natural Net. We're now looking for any further check-ins. Please put your call sign out now. All right, no further check-ins recognized at this time. I'm going to roll back to the top of the list. KC2 UVP, Mike.
Being the B-man that I am, 50 years of smoking, it's really good for you. It must have something to do with bee technology. I'm not broken yet, but I definitely smoke too much.
Awesome, Justin.
Anyways, this conversation of bees
I can tell you more about that at some
and
point.
my awareness
I've done some
of
reading on that.
nature. I love you, B-man. You guys are my
Yes,
alpha
I
men.
would say that.
And back to the net.
All right, very good, Mike. Well, thanks for joining that, and we're going to roll on back on down to KD2 RFI, Bob.
Alright, KD2 RFI. Yeah, I was going to tell you, every once in a
I would
while,
think so, and THC
I
as
think
well.
one of my videos out there too, where I kind of really screwed up.
Thanks, Michelle.
But every once in a while, I screw up, I do something stupid, or get rushed around and just don't think things through, or check in details, or whatever the reason. I guess we all do it once in a while.
Yep, we do.
At least I'm hoping we all do, so I'm not alone. But anyway, I had a friend of mine call me up Saturday morning. Had to be around 11 o'clock, I guess, kind of late morning. She lives a few miles south of me. They have a little farm down there, and all kinds of animals. And I've given them some bees and gotten them started on honeybees a few years ago, and gave her another swarm last year. I guess it did well throughout the winter, called me up and said it swarmed that you wanted to borrow my bucket. I said, absolutely, no problem. I said, unfortunately, it was 7 miles north of my house, doing that, tree and leveling some land and whatnot. So I told her, you got to come here. I keep my swarm equipment in the back of my truck. So she had no problem doing it. She runs up. I see her pull in. I head down the hill to meet her at the truck to give her the equipment. I open up my back door and I'd taken my equipment out and left it at my house. So I felt absolutely horrible. I made her drive all the way up when she could have just went to my house, which is probably like 3 miles from hers, to pick up the bee equipment. So I was a little embarrassed, to say the least. But these things happen. Good news is she went back to the house and borrowed my bucket and was able to add another hive to her apiary. So I think she's got 2 hives right now. So it all wound up good. It just, one of those little things in life where I say, I'm truly embarrassed and had to apologize for her, tell her how sorry I was, whatnot. So it is what it is. So goes life. KD2, RF5, Bethany.
For sure, Bob. I know that whole tricking yourself thing with always carrying something with you in the vehicle, and then you take it out for something, and then you forget that you took it out, and then you go to grab it, or you go to load it. Really horrible thing to do, to load it to somebody. They drive up there, but I'm sure she forgave you. I'm sure she appreciated the bucket, and hopefully it'll be okay. Either way, she made the catch, so that's fantastic. But yeah, we all make mistakes like that. It happens. Don't feel bad. Just let it go and move on. All right. Well, let's roll on down to Matt, KP2 SBT.
KP2 SBT.
Nice bomber.
I think I'll just pass it to the next person. Thanks, CJ.
Yeah, you could grab a pillowcase. That's true. Bucket's easier, though. All right. Very good, Matt. Let's roll on down to David, KD2 MQE.
MQE, thanks. I thought of something else. I might have asked you guys a while back, but I'm just wondering if any of you have kept track of Myron Rao, R-O-W-E, in Kingston. When my brother did a bunch of beekeeping, I don't know, 20, 30 years ago, and Rao's apiary was in the city of Kingston. He went to high school with my mom, and they lived around the corner down the other street in Kingston. So,
For sure, Chris.
But he must be in his late 80s if he's still alive at all. But I remember going up there and looking for, we would go up there to get bees and get equipment and stuff, and it was cool because it was in the middle of Kingston. It was by that water tower, by Flatbush Avenue. But so curious if he's still in effect, or if any of you ever heard of him. That's all I have this round. Back to you guys.
All right, very good. For me, the name sounds vaguely familiar, but I can't say I've specifically heard of him or remember the name. But I'll put it out, and if anybody does remember the name, throw your call sign out. This is KD2 in control for the Sunday night All Things Natural Net. Hey, Robin. Looks like we're drawing a blank on that one, so sorry, David. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the names that are around now. I can't even think of them off the top of my head. But let's see. We'll roll on down to KD2 SQO, Brian. Maybe he signed out. Alright, KD2 SQO, pick it up if you're there. Alright, maybe I misunderstood him before, maybe he checked out just to listen. Alright, so let's roll on down to Jim, K2BHM.
Thanks, CJ, K2BHM. Yeah, still reading the mail and nothing much to add, just sitting back, listening and learning.
Alright, very good, and that brings us back to another opportunity for check-ins. This is KD2 IIN Net Control for the Sunday Night All Things Natural Net. If there are any further check-ins, please call now. Negatai. Alright, no further check-ins recognized. We're going to go back to the top of the list. KC2, UVP.
Yeah, I believe B etiquette
Sorry, Bomber.
is like the A
It's hurt
etiquette
my ears too.
that humans should kind of look at. It's a pretty simple
Going okay, Robin.
nourishment,
Green G!
entertainment,
What up, Jim and Jess?
livelihood, kind of
GDP
environment.
dogs.
And
Good to see you in.
apparently you guys are beating me pretty well because I'm not totally out of my mind yet. This KC2 UVP, pack the net.
Alright, sounds good there, Mike. And we'll roll on back down to Bob, KD2 RFI.
KD2 RFI. You know, one thing I wanted to mention, I picked up some swarm lure. I have put a swarm trap out. Can't tell you where, because I don't know if it's supposed to be there, so I'm not telling nobody. But anyway, I used the swarm lure and kind of sprayed it in. I've heard about the lemongrass oil and watching and researching this other stuff. Can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but they said this stuff was a lot better than the lemongrass oil as far as an attractant for swarms. So just out of curiosity, a few days ago I sprayed it on a couple branches, one on one of my young apple trees outside of the apiary, and one on one of the, I'm not sure what type of tree it is, it's a young tree right within my apiary, and I just gave them a little spread each to see how they were doing. Needless to say, neither one of the swarms took the bait that it landed on, but I'm kind of curious if anyone's ever heard of anything about swarm lure being sprayed on a branch or a limb to attract the swarms.
Huh.
So almost like you could guide the swarms where you want them to land and collect them from. So I haven't heard anything about it. I've heard nobody discuss it, so I'm assuming it's a farce, but I gave it a whirl. But I gotta tell you, just having that little swarm lure bottle in my pocket, the bees started climbing right in my pocket when I was collecting those swarms. It was pretty neat. They were going right down in, checking it out, so which I found interesting. You hear anything about that? Back to that.
Alright, regarding swarm lure, I've only heard of it being used in like a swarm capture hive, or using it as a means of like getting the swarm to stick around when you install them into something, trying to get them to hang out. I've never heard of it being used on a branch like that, but I have heard and seen a few videos where people say they swarm on the same branch, and they relate that to the queen pheromone still being minutely present on the branch. I don't know as to the accuracy of that either, but I'm going to throw that question back out. The other thing I know that works is lemongrass, and actually Deanna used that in the swarm capture that we did last week, and I mean, they didn't abscond, so obviously it didn't seem to bother him. But I think I'm going to throw this back over to Matt and see if he has any more insight in this. So KD2 and net control, back to KB2 SBT if you want to pick it up.
KB2 SBT, sure. As far as swarm lure, haven't really studied that, but the lemongrass oil that my wife used did seem to help. They seemed attracted to it, and
thanks, Robin.
gravitate to that area where she put the drops. So I wouldn't be surprised if that works, or the other stuff is a combination of that. So it makes sense since they're attracted to pheromones. So if something simulates something that they like, I could see them being attracted to it, maybe a branch or whatever that you put it on. So I think it definitely helped keep them in the box when we capture some of those swarms. Back to net control, KB2 SBT.
All right, very good, and I'll throw it right back to Bob so you can ask further questions or make further comments. KD2I.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, because I think if the box is a little spritz, just out of that. And it's Swarm Commander. It's called Swarm Commander there. Supposedly it's pretty good.
Can't look at chat anymore.
I don't know. We'll see how it does. Like I said, I'm using it in the swarm trap I have placed, and I gave the boxes a quick little spritz before I dumped the swarms in, so hopefully it works well. I have not seen any activity around any of the branches I've spritzed it on, but I'm just kind of curious about that. Sounds good. KD2, RFI, back to net control. Thanks, CJ. Thanks, man.
All right, very good. And since it's technically Matt's turn, I'll put it back to him if he wants to comment, or he can just push it off, and we'll go down the list.
KB2SBT up. You can head on down the list. Thanks.
All right, very good. This is KD2 and Net Control for the Sunday Night All Things Natural Net. I think we'll just pause momentarily here and do another opportunity for check-ins, and then we'll roll on down to David. If there's any further check-ins, put your call sign out now, please. All right, that means it's your turn, David. KD2 MQE, pick it up.
Not much further. I'm just like obsessing about this guy I was asking about last turn, and I found his spot in the middle of Kingston. It looks like there's a pile of hives in the backyard right in the middle of Kingston. I'll send you the coordinates, but it's not super interesting. It's just funny that it's there, and they must be out of business now. It would be something listed other than what I can see on the satellite. But interesting satellite view. That's it for me. Thanks. Back to that.
All right, very good. I don't know anything about that, but I'd be curious where it is. And Matt and Bob both know hive equipment is pretty expensive if you have to go buy it new. So if there's a resource there, and so we could make some kind of a bulk deal, that would be awesome. But thanks for the info about that. Let's roll on down to, let's see, I think KD2 SQO is checked out, so I think we'll roll down to Jim, K2 BHM.
Yep, still here, CJ. Just kind of scan the internet. My rig here is kind of showing signs of being long in the tooth. It's 20 years old and giving me a little bit of problems, and I'm thinking of picking something else up, so I'm researching here. So I'm kind of one ear to the QSO going on here, and looking over, picking out a new radio on the web. So, KVBHM.
All right, very good, Jim. Well, I know how that is, and there's always 13 things going. To try to give attention to all of them is difficult. All right, let's roll on back up to the top of the list. KC2 UVP.
Thank you, everybody. I'll be sitting here on the side listening. 7-3. What a great round robin. KC2 UVP clear.
All right, Mike. We'll consider you checked out of the net. Have a good evening. Thanks for coming in. And we're back to Bob. KD2 RFI.
KD2 RFI. Mike, you have a good night. Take care. Be safe. I don't know. Not a whole lot more that's coming to mind at the moment. I guess just for apiary update, I think I'm at 14 hives. I'm hoping to have all my equipment filled by the end of the season. I'll have to spend a little more time on them and check them out more and make some splits. Seeing how they swarmed out, I know I got some grain cells I could definitely make some splits out of, but I don't know if I'm going to have time this week, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Hello, Lewis
I got a couple more hives that are getting ready to bust out as well.
WW5
So those swarms land in
LW.
position, I can do a lazy man split. I guess it will be considered. Away from the swarm, grab them up, dump them in a box, and call it a split. So, I think I got enough capacity for maybe 20, possibly. I would have to go back out and just recalculate on it. I don't know. I know I definitely got to pull a lot more frames together. Add some mice, getting some frames. I got to tear the wax out, replace the wax, put the foundation in, and get everything up and running again. And I even had a couple boxes that I had stored in a dark, quiet spot, and the wax moths got into because I was too lazy to move them. So, anyway, we'll see. Got a lot of work ahead for the summer, or the spring. I guess by summertime it would be too late.
All right, very good, Bob. Yeah, I have a lot of frames and foundations and boxes to pull out and go through and scrape up and clean up and put some new foundations in and get things ready to roll also. That's on my punch list for this week. Hope I can get to it with all the other things that are going on. But yeah, very good, very good. Let's see, we'll roll on down to KB2 SBT. Matt.
Thanks, CJ. KB2 SBT here. I'll throw out a question then. This is question answer time. I was wondering anybody's thoughts on single brood chamber versus double brood chambers. I've seen some things, pros and cons on each. I've always traditionally done double brood boxes, theory being given more room, less chance that they'll swarm. They have lots of resources in the top hive, hopefully going into winter with honey. I guess the argument for a single brood box would be easier hive management. One brood box, queen's got to be in there with the excluder on top, and you just fill up honey super space on top of that. And she can only lay so many eggs in a 21-day period, so she really wouldn't need more room than that. So I don't know. I might try one single brood box setup this year. So yeah, any thoughts on that? KB2 SBT.
Thanks, Lears. Well, I'll respond to that, and then I'll pose the question out to Bob as well. My thoughts on that after this season, yeah, run double brood boxes, and maybe another partial box of honey on top of that, or something, or maybe just keep a reserve box of honey and be able to throw one in the spring. I lost the 2 colonies I lost this spring, and as far as I can tell, at least one of them was frozen out, in part due to starvation. And then I was watching Frederick Dunn's channel, and he was talking about how much honey you should have in reserve. I know Joe that I got the bees from was saying around 80 pounds is good, but Frederick was saying 100, and he said he lost a hive or 2 due to starvation as well, which seems strange to me with the warmer weather we've had, but also I suppose they're probably more active with those few warm days we have on and off, and maybe they're burning more resources as a result of that. But I think going forward, I'm going to do the double. I want to make sure they have plenty of room and plenty of honey over the winter, and so that's my theory on it. But I'd love to hear what Bob has to say as well. So this is KD2 and Net Control for the Sunday Night All Things Natural Net. Back to KD2 RFI.
KD2 RFI. Okay, a couple different things there. One being the starvation in the winter. I think 80 to 100 pounds is definitely what I always try to achieve. And you're absolutely right, CJ. It all depends on the season, how hard the winter is. I've heard some old-time farmers, they will try and keep the hives as cold as they could possibly keep them, just for the reason they don't burn up too many resources. And they seem to use less resources in the colder weather from less movement.
Yeah.
The warmer winters we tend to have, they tend to use more resources and therefore use more honey. So it's understandable that even with 100 pounds of honey, depending on situation and size of the colony and the cluster, they could still starve. That's why I try and go through on the warmer days, usually January, late January, February, and make a quick assessment. If we get a halfway decent warm day where you can crack the lid, like it's around 40 degrees, bees aren't flying, but yet you're not letting too much cold air out. They say the colder you keep the hives, the better. Most hives don't die from the cold, they'll die from starvation, or they'll die from moisture, condensation inside the hive. Let me let it drop a moment. Alright, and I almost forgot the second question there. The other part was the double brood box. Wild colonies, and
I don't either,
based off one of the books I read, Thomas Healy.
Yeah, that's the guy.
I think Finding the Wild Bees or something like that is his book by Thomas Healy. He says most hives in the wild, or a large colony, would be considered a 1 10-frame brood box. That's about as as big as they get out in the wild due to the capacity of the chamber that they're in the trees or other areas.
But thanks for coming in.
Wild colony will tend to swarm out 3-4 times a year, multiple times. It just keeps swarming and swarming and swarming because they're in such a small area. The queen bee can lay up to, I think it's 1,000 eggs a day.
I've heard way higher than that too.
So that's an incredible amount of eggs. So after 3 weeks, you got 1,000 new bees in that hive. So the hive is absolutely exploding. Once a bee leaves the cell, the worker bees will usually try and fill that cell with honey and start stocking up for the winter. So there's a constant chase between the queen bee trying to lay eggs and find empty cells and whatnot, especially as you get later into the season. Later in the season, you get the more the bees are trying to fill the cells with honey, and the more the queen runs out of room. So my theory on the 1 or 2 brood boxes is right on par with CJ. What he said is I definitely like the 2 brood box. Give the queen as much room as possible, because otherwise she'll run out of room and it'll force them to swarm. Or if you don't have a queen excluder, separating them. None of my hives have queen excluders. She might move up into the honey boxes. So there's a whole lot of different options. I guess it just all depends on your management style, because it will work if it works for you. KD2RFI back in there.
This is KD2 Net Control for the Sunday Night All Things Natural Net. Bob, thank you so much for your insight and your thoughts on that. And yeah, that kind of confirms my thoughts as well. And I love that you mentioned the wild bee colonies and how that affects it. I think that's kind of the same theory that the guy that I got my bees from was talking about with using the top bar hive and just letting it fill up, get crowded, and then it pumps out all sorts of swarms, and that gives you a way to build your apiary up if you want. So that's some excellent information. I'm going to throw it back to KB2SBT Matt for further comment.
KB2SBT, yeah, definitely some good insights there. Yeah, normally I've always run double brood boxes.
I got to get my HF back up.
And yeah, one of my concerns was you would have to leave another brood box on top for honey storage to get through the winter.
Right.
You know, you might have a queen excluder between the two. You know, so you know, you definitely need to.
Hello, Natural State Gardener.
I wasn't
Welcome.
sure how to overcome that aspect of it. So, yeah, one of the things that got me to think about it was with suddenly 10 hives all of a sudden, I'm starting to run low on some premiums and stuff like that. So, just thought I'd throw that out there. KB2SBT.
KD2RFI comment.
Go ahead.
Alright, you mentioned the queen excluder. I just want to, and I'm hoping you already know this, queen excluder should be removed before going into the winter. Just make sure we don't want to restrict the queen from getting up into the honey boxes, because otherwise the colony will stop right there and they'll definitely starve them out for the winter. They won't leave the queen, but they won't be able to access the honey stores either.
I don't even own a pair of them.
Just wanted to clarify that. KD2RFI. Send it back. Thanks.
Alright, very good. I'm pretty sure Matt's familiar with that also. And I don't use queen excluders, or at least I haven't up to this point. One of the things that Frederick Dunn channel talks about also is how queen excluders restrict inbound, outbound a bit of the bees. And he talked about using upper entrances in combination with that. But I don't know. I guess I'm going to put this back to Matt, and we'll go from there. KB2SBT, it's you.
KB2SBT. Yeah, I do take them off for the winter, and that would have been one of the obstacles to overcome, would be removing the queen excluder, and then have 2 brood boxes going into the spring, but then she might be laying in the top in the spring, so I don't know, a lot of things to consider. So I don't know, I might just stick with my current setup. Probably just have to get some more brood frames on. KB2SBT, back to net.
This is KD2 Net Control for the Sunday Night All Things Natural Net. I don't want to leave anybody out here, so we're just going to roll down to K2BHM quick and see if he has any comments, and then we'll go back through a final rotation, and then we'll go ahead and close the net up. So Jim, K2BHM, pick it up.
still reading the mail and listening and learning and searching.
Good night,
KDB
Robin.
Jim.
All right, very good. So I guess we'll roll back up to, I guess all we have left is me and Bob and Matt and David. Oh, I skipped David. David, I'm sorry. KD2 MQE, you're up.
MQE, nothing further from me. Sounds good though. Back to you guys.
All right, very good. Sorry, I didn't mean to skip over you there. All right, so we're back to the top of the list, which is KD2 RFI now, because Mike is checked out.
KD2 RFI. I'll make it short and sweet. Definitely, I got a lot of opinions. You ask any beekeeper, he might come up with 2 or 3 different ideas. My information's out there. If anybody needs any questions answered or anything, I'll do what I can. I rely on the experts in the field, which I don't consider myself. I might have some experience, but I definitely don't consider myself an expert. But anyway, if anybody has any questions, by all means, shoot me an email or hit me up on the radio here or whatever. My info's on the QRZ. I think my email's there too. If not, CJ, feel free to pass it around. Other than that, I'd love sharing ideas and concepts and theories and seeing what works, what doesn't work, and the good, the bad, and the ugly. KD2 RFI, sending it back. Thanks a lot, CJ. Thanks for running that. Have a good night.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for participating, Bob. I always appreciate your information and thoughts and insights and ideas. So thanks for coming along, and thanks for sharing your perspective on beehives and beekeeping. I hope you have a great evening, and I hope this week is a little less wearing on you. All right, let's roll back down to KB2 SBT. Matt, your final comments for the net.
I'd just like to say thanks to Bob for the information and CJ for putting this all together, this nice little net. KB2 SBT will be 73s.
All right, well, you're very welcome, Matt, and thanks for coming along and participating. This was an excellent conversation about beekeeping and any other nice little details and eccentricities that go with that. So greatly appreciated. The net can only be as good as its participants. So thanks for that. All right, and we'll back down, and Jim can make a final comment if he wants, so then I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. See you in the portal, Justin. Thanks, Geeky, for the link.
Was that to me, CJ?
It was just any final comments for the net.
No. Just enjoying the conversation and sitting back and multitasking. Thanks, KDB Jim.
All right, very good, Jim. Have a good evening. Thanks for playing along with us. And I just want to mention I had a check-in here by internet via the chat and YouTube. It's WW5LW. So I've got him logged here in the logbook as well, and he was listening along and playing along with us, so glad to have him along as well. All right, that's it. This is KD2 and Net Control for the Sunday Night All Things Natural Net. This has been another session of the All Things Natural Net, and I'll just make some announcements quick. We have several other nets on this repeater here on the OMARC 146805 megahertz repeater. That's a PL tone of 103.5 and a negative shift of 600 kilohertz. So Thursday night net at 8 p.m. That's run by K2GLV. That's more technically oriented discussion, usually about radio or amateur radio or Raspberry Pis or computers or anything really deep technical like that. There's some excellent discussions there. Always has good participation. And then 8:35 a.m. there's sort of an informal net, daily check-in net here. That's run by Paul, AC2UQ. And then evenings, 6:30 p.m. we have the OMARC daily check-in net, and that's run by Rotating Net Controls. So I hope you'll join us in some of those other nets as well. I'll just drop for a sec. Alright, you can find out more about our club by visiting our website at www.omarcclub.org. That's whiskey.Oscar Mike Alpha Romeo Charlie Lima Uniform Bravo Oscar Romeo Golf. And thanks to all those who participated. Hope we'll see you again next week or sometime soon. We'll catch you on the air. 7.3 as we say. KD2 this net is officially closed and the frequency is back under regular amateur use, and I am clear. And radio is hot. Alright folks, I'm going to head over to the paranormal portal, and I'll see you guys over there. Snacks. Oh man, I could use some snacks. Somebody bring some snacks to the paranormal portal. I need snacks. Thanks everyone for coming along. Appreciate the participation. And bees and huskies. I like that. Alright, we'll see you guys over at the paranormal portal. I will try to provide a link to the paranormal portal live.